Hello, my friends. This is Sandy, and this video is going to walk us through my Adoring Hearts 10 card workshop. 7 of these are shakers. We're going to do those first so that you are going to either love or hate shakers by the time we're done. All of the stamping, die cutting, that kind of stuff, the die cutting was done for you, but all the stamping was done with Adoring Hearts. And what's great about Adoring Hearts is the die and embossing folder hybrid has this really cool feature where this die fits perfectly right in here so that when you run it through, out comes, if you put gold paper in there, for example, the gold foil paper, out comes 9 gold foil hearts or whatever color hearts you're cutting. So this is super, super amazing. Highly recommend. We're going to start this kit by at the top of your kit, you've got a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to kind of just get some process done so that things can dry and what have you. This one, we're going to run through the embossing folder without the metal. So just the embossing folder, right like this through the machine. And that's going to create this element here. So go ahead and get that done. So this piece is now embossed, and I'm just going to take a sanding block and run it over top to expose that white core. And then that one can get set aside. We're not going to use that for a while. This piece, the bluish one, that you're going to spray with water and then crumple into a ball. So I spritzed it with water on both sides, so it's not dripping, but it's damp. And I'm just rolling it, crinkling it into a ball. I want lots and lots of folds, so I might go back through and go, you know what, there's not enough crinkle over here, over there. Then we're going to set this aside. And when we get to card, I believe 8 or 9, then we're going to sand that, but it needs to be dry first. On this one, we're going to use the flower stamp, the little one. This one right here. And with black ink, stamp that twice on here. You really have enough room to do 4, but you only need 2. So you got some practice room. And then while you're stamping, after you get those done, on the blue one, I did To My Valentine, celebrating you on there, with all my heart on there, and just for you on there. The next thing we're going to need is a glass mat or an all-purpose mat, something that is easily cleaned up. So I've got my glass mat and I just took some ink and rubbed it on there real quick. Don't need a lot, just a little bit. And then I'm adding some water to that and it's all kind of going together. I want this heart, let me show you what this one looks like. I want this heart to have some blue tones to it. So I'm going to take my heart and just smush it right down into that wet. And then this one, you're also going to set aside, grab a paper towel, clean up your glass mat. Next, so you don't lose this clear plastic piece, first thing you do with this is peel. One side of it has a protective coating. Peel the protective coating off. Get just the outer rim of the protective lining. So you want to leave all of the pieces there and just pull off this outer lining. And then put your clear plastic piece right on top of that shaker port. And yes, you're covering up all those little doodads in there. That's okay. At least this way it's on there just the way you need it to be. We're going to jump right in and start on our first card now. And the first thing I want you to do with this one is you're going to grab a stamp and stamp with all my heart and line these two pieces up. Okay, so we've got a grayish one and then the pink one that's got the heart in there. You just move all these pieces over for a minute. And we want our heart stamp to fit right inside of there. So I've stamped with all my heart on the pink, and then making sure these are lined up, I'm stamping that heart right in there. And then you're going to want to color that before we assemble this. So go ahead and grab markers and get that colored. So I've got that colored. Now we're going to take our adhesive and put that, you want it to go right near that heart. And we're going to take that plastic coating and attach that to the back of the heart cutout piece. Ooh, hopefully not with a piece of hair stuck in it like mine. There we go. All right, grab your card front and we're going to start assembling this now. We've got our swirly piece at the top and now let's assemble our shaker. So we're going to put foam tape around the edge of this. Let me grab that. So I've made a square around the heart and then just added some extra foam tape so that whole piece of paper is going to be lifted. Before we go and assemble that though, I want you to take one of your cute little bumblebees. Aren't these tiny bees adorable? I know they could be butterflies too, right? But they're called tiny bee trinkets, so I know they're bees. So I'm just going to put one of these little gluey guys on the back of here so that he'll stick. And then I'm putting him right inside that heart. Then I'm going to add whatever shaker stuff you got, right? I don't know what your stash looks like. If you're over here and you're creating with me, you can use whatever I've got in my stash. Just grab whatever you're going to use there. Then we're going to take the outer rim off of these and go ahead and pull the backing off of that whole thing. And as best as you can, line these two pieces back up. Now, if you're off a little bit, just use your scissors and trim. Sometimes it's hard to line those up, but here we've got our first shaky done. And isn't it great that that little bee just sits right where you want them to go? All right, so we're going to put tape on the back of this, and you want lots of tape on the back of this shaker piece because you don't want it falling off as people are shaking it. Then on this piece and this piece, I just used a sanding block and sanded so that those two pieces kind of stick out a little more. Totally up to you if you want to do that. Then once it's sanded, this piece is going to kind of lay right along the edge of the pink paper. Then this gray piece is going to go down behind there. Then just trim off the extra. And we'll add our couple of hearts. So we've got a heart up here, and then you're going to grab one of your gold foil hearts. Let's see, I'll do the one that I used there, which is 2 big leaves. And that card is now done. Let's move on to our next one. Oh, real quick. I also used a black journaling pen and just did a couple of lines around the edge. Totally up to you if you want to do that, if it makes a difference to you. So with this one, here's the pieces for this card. The first thing you're going to want to do is, again, layer that white piece with the heart cutout piece as close as you can. And we're going to stamp that frame heart right in there. Then again, plastic goes on the back, keeping it nice and close near the hearts. And then we add our plastic piece. Now, guys, this plastic that we're using, that's just a page protector, a scrapbook page protector that I cut down into the sizes that I needed. So really easy to do these, right? Okay, so If you want, I created two different, this one's got yellow, orange, and some hearts. This one up here has red and some hearts. So if you want those two shakers to be separate, two different things going on, I'm going to show you how I did that. So on here, we are going to, again, do some framing, but this time we're going to frame two different things. So we've got our big heart up here. And then whenever you're doing this, you just want to make sure that nothing's going to be falling out later. So close up those seams really good. And then the other thing is once you get these squared off, you also want to make sure that, this isn't going to be kind of flopping in the wind there. Same thing over here. We'll put a little extra so that it's not just boing, boing, boing on the front of the card. All right. Oh, I think I want to do just a little bit here too. Okay. So now on this, color, if you want to color, do the coloring first. I'm going to add just a little. So on this one, there's no color because I forgot before I assembled. So totally up to you. It looks fine. Black and white gives it a different look. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and leave it. Yeah. Yeah, I am. Okay. So I'm going to add my gems to two different sections, right here and here. And I just want to make sure that they're staying in those spaces, those general areas. We don't want any of the shaker to stick to our foam tape and then not stick on the front of the card. So I took the backing off of that and just laid it flat right on there. And then if you need to, grab your scissors and just trim down any of the edges of the white that are kind of hanging toward the front. There we go. Okay, so now we are going to, we've got three different pieces that we're going to lay at a diagonal. And I would like the biggest one in the middle and then the two smaller ones on the top and the bottom of that, in theory. Now, if you don't have enough room because I cut your hearts a little too close or your spacing's a little bit different, then you might have to pick one or the other, and that's okay. I'm going to do all three on here, just a little bit of an angle. And then I'm going to take this hexagon piece and line that right up in the middle of that bigger one. And then do just a little trim right down the edge. Then this piece attaches to the center of the black. The black goes on the front of a card. And then from here, it's totally up to you how you want to do this. I used a journaling pen and I just wrote the words B with a space in the middle, mine. I'm going to take one of my little bees again and just put him right down in the middle of this. And then I also took the black pen and did dot dash marks across here and little dots in random spots. Again, totally up to you if you want to do that, but that will finish this card off. All right, card number 3. First, take this hexagon piece and put it right on top of that orange. Now we need 6 of these little pieces. So you're going to use your scissors and trim those out. We're also working on, you're going to take this and put it center so you've got an orange frame all the way around. And I'm going to stamp I adore you right in there. Then add your tape, and we're going to add our plastic piece next. And then foam tape around there like we've been doing. So I've got my foam tape, I've got my gems. I'm going to do my best to frame that. Then this black piece gets placed just a little bit above the bottom of that red. And then our 6 hexagons that we cut out are going to go right on top of that. And then if you want, you can use a white gel pen to do dashes, just to add a little bit of accent there if you want. I layered the orange on top of the white and the white on top of the red. And the red goes on the card base. And then in addition to the dashes, I also again added just one of those cute little bees right to the front of the card. Right there. So I've got my pink paper. I'm lining my heart paper right up to it. And then I stamped that flower and I adore you. And next I'm going to just color that in. And now you guessed it, we need to create that window. So we're going to close up one side. Better to do it this way. Come on. All right, and then add your foam. So I've peeled the backing just off of this one down here, and I just want to look through that window and make sure that I can see all the goodness that I want to see in there. Now I'm a little bit off down here. I'm going to need to trim some of that pink off. Making sure that that's not going to bust open on me. Now this is going on the front of the card. Then we're going to put this striped piece at a diagonal. We're leaving some red in the corner. Then the white's going to overlap that. I'm leaving just a little bit of space there. And then this piece is going to cover that up. Then trim. Look how cute that is. And then we're just going to take one of our leaves. And that's going right up in this corner. Hooray, hooray. Another one done. On this card, first step is lining up these two pieces so that you can get that heart right in the middle. Then go ahead and color it. So stamped to my Valentine along the bottom there. You guessed it. Here's what's next. Put your plastic piece around the back side of the heart. Add your foam tape. Now I added a bee here on my original sample here. I put the bee here, but I really love the way the bees look on the inside. So on this particular one, I'm doing it there. And then again, foam tape. and add your gems. All right, so a couple of pieces that we've got to add. You've got your black heart that actually fits like a puzzle right inside of there. Then we've got a white strip, and then you're going to go through and cut that hexagon piece out and put that kind of right in there. I added black journal pen around the edge, did some white dots, and then of course we've got one of our little gold hearts that's going to go right in here. But I'm going to cut my hexagon first and get that on there. I'm going to set that aside and do it after the video because you guys have already seen how that works. Step one, stamp whatever you want in your circle or in your heart. Then you guessed it, plastic on the back. And if you need to trim a little, you can. Get your foam tape on there. Foam tape, sparkly bling. That goes on there. Then we're gonna do kind of a triple mount here. We're gonna add the pink to the black, and then that fun, crazy border is gonna go right on top of that. Now, if you want, I did do dash marks with the white gel pen on there. We're gonna add our heart, but this one's pretty much done. You may notice as we're going that they're getting a little bit easier each card. That is by design, so I don't, when we get to the end, you're like, oh, that one was easy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, there we go. Boom. Then add one of these fun hearts. And we're good. We're going to work on our last shaker card of this collection. We've actually done a whole bunch of the work already for this card, so you just need to get some of the whatever sequins you decide to use in there. You don't want them stacked too high because then they won't shake around. All right, then this heart that we create, let me put this lid on there. You know how that goes. Um, so now we're peeling back from the backing. This is flat on the back. We want to peel this off so that as many of these little doodads as we can stick to that. And this just needs that outer rim of the heart and the plastic piece. These two sandwiched together. We've got our shaker element. I did not do a good job placing that, so I'm just going to trim a little bit around this heart. All right, then plastic or adhesive goes on the heart rim and gets attached to this. Then the card gets this paper. Make sure your hearts are going the right way. Then we've got this blue strip that's going to go, leave just a little bit of the heart along the left-hand side showing. Now from here, this is totally up to you how much detail you want to do. I added this piece along the edge here and then used my scissors and trimmed off the edge so that along here you get that fun little look. So there's that, and then I'm going to add my heart to my Valentine, and then this guy right down here. And that finishes up this one. So that was the last of our shaker cards. Okay, so to start this card, you're going to add your two blue pieces to the outside, and then we're going to add that striped piece. And if there's going to be a gap, let the gap be on this side, because then we're going to cover up that gap with this piece right here. And then we've got that heart that we did way back in the beginning. Let's start with our black. So the black heart is going to go about a half of an inch over and about an inch and a half up. And then we're going to take this one, and that's going to wrap right around it. These two just fit perfectly together. Then if you want, you can start using some foam tape to lift some of these up, or you can just lay them flat. This is that one that we made blue earlier. I'm going to have that one up in the corner. Then this one's going to overlap down here. We've got our last gold foil heart, and that one's hanging off the edge. Then I've got the with all my heart that we stamped back in the beginning, and I'm just going to use some of these little dots from in here, my foam, and then peel the backing off of those. Let go, let go. Okay, so this one's going to go right in the middle here. And we're going to trim off the edge here and here. And then if you want, you can grab one of your cute little bees, and I put him right on this heart. It depends on, I think I'm going to put him up here this time because there's a lot of gold on this particular heart where there wasn't on this one. But that's it for that card. So with this one, we're putting the swirly paper down, then the black strip goes above that. We're going to put that notebook strip right along the edge of that. And the gold foil paper right underneath there. So there's the start of the top of that card. Trim off the edge. And now we've got a square gray piece that's going to go off to the left-hand side of this card. Then remember back in the beginning, we had gotten that all sprayed. Now we're going to take some sandpaper, and what happens is the white core is revealed on the parts that are wrinkly. Isn't that a neat effect? So it looks leathered. You'll want lots of adhesive around all four edges of this paper, maybe even some in the middle, to help hold that all together, because now it's got wrinkles. We did that. Okay, so you've got two little gold flourishes and one flower. Just throw some tape on there. We're not going to put that down until we get our heart down. You decide if you want to use foam tape on your heart or if you just want to lay it flat. I'm going to make mine flat-ish. So that kind of goes in the middle of that heart. And then we're going to take these pieces and just tuck them behind. So it looks like they're coming right from behind the heart there. Make sure with this one that it's staying on the card. And then if you want, you can use one of your little bees, put a bee there. I did dashes around the darker gray and dots around the edge of the heart to finish that off. A little extra if you want to do extra. But we're on our last card now. So this one starts with marbled paper on the bottom, striped paper on the top. We're going to add our gold strip along the edge where those two meet. And then this circly guy goes right underneath there. Then we're going to add our embossed piece that we did back in the beginning as a nice little drop, backdrop. Then you're going to cut out your flowers, and I actually colored them with a white gel pen. We've got our heart, our red heart here, our little hearts, gold hearts there. Tuck those flowers behind, add your just for you and a bee, and that is this project. I hope you enjoyed the Adoring Hearts card workshop with all its fun shakers. I'd love for you to comment. Thanks for watching.